only mode.
Yeah. Oh, no one is on though. Oh. Sorry. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Jamie Neely. Hopefully, can everyone hear me okay? Awesome, awesome. I think at 11 o'clock. We'll go ahead and get everyone, get you all started. Again, my name is Jamie Neely. I'm the Associate Director of our Established Business Programs here at WBDC. My role here is very much responsible for working with our established clients, clients who've been in business for a couple of years, generating a bit of revenue, looking to grow their company. We meet our clients at whatever level they're at and attempt to grow with them. And so as we learn more about how to leverage your certification, your WBE certification, I ask that you hold your questions into the end of the webinar, and then we'll grab them all and have further discussion then. Thank you. As you all are most familiar with WBDC and our offerings here to our established clients, you know that we provide a lot of entrepreneurial training from very conceptual, I have an idea of a business, all the way to multi-million-dollar import and exporting businesses, right? So we have a really large range of how we train and provide services to our clients. We provide a host of one-on-one and group counseling, which is very beneficial. We get to learn intimately your business, your growth opportunities, and how WBDC and our referral partners can assist you with that growth. And of course, the WBE certification, which most of you all are familiar with. Our corporate partner supplier diversity strategies. We have corporate partners here, and with those corporate partners, most of them tend to have supplier diversity strategies. So along with our corporate partners, we develop and plan out how we can engage our WBEs with our corporate partners. Access to markets through procurement opportunities. We attempt to host procurement opportunities, matchmaking events, corporate matchmaking events, whether we're hosting, whether we're partnering with our corporate partners, and so forth. We're just trying to make sure that we find ways that our WBEs, you all, can meet, network, and build opportunities with those corporations. So today you've joined this webinar to learn how to leverage your WBE certification. And today we'll cover the certification and its benefits, corporate contract strategy, corporation supplier diversity, and the value proposition, and sometimes called capability statement. WBE certification, Women Business Enterprise Certification. It validates that you are at least 51% owned, controlled, and operated by a woman or women. Most corporations, majority of corporations and government entities have supplier goals, which means they're obligated and they allot and allocate so much of their spending power to minority women, sometimes veteran and disabled businesses. The WBank certification is accepted by more than 1 million corporations nationwide and government agencies. So that provides a huge range of opportunity ahead of all of you. WBE certification and benefits, again, it's to increase the value of your existing customer base, right? So you all may have clients, and being certified, you're able to leverage that. You're able to access corporate and government contracts. You're able to become visible in the national database. So with WBank, there's a huge database of not only fellow WBEs, but also corporate partners. WBDC specifically have over 90 corporate partners that we engage in, but the WBank National Council has over 700. So again, that opens up your exposure to so many more WBEs that may have like businesses or even competitive businesses you can learn from or share best practices with, as well as those corporations that support WBank, WBDC, and it's in our efforts to engage our WBEs with opportunities for corporate opportunities. Networking and referrals are very important, and I can't stress that enough. Again, with your fellow WBEs, it's enough opportunity out there for all of us, so to share best practices with each other, to share, hey, I know this corporation that's looking to do business with your product or your service, so maybe you should look into that. I think that type of network is what we expand on, and we attempt to cultivate that culture and make sure that we're all kind of supportive of each other and our growth opportunities. A little fact finding: 80% of our corporations encourage diverse suppliers. So again, a large pool of corporations that are looking for minority, women, veteran, or disabled-owned businesses to supply with. 40% of corporations require at least one women business enterprise bid. That's major. So that's like you're at least getting a look, and I think that helps a lot. It's a foot in the door. It's a way to become recognized, name recognition, brand recognition for future opportunities. So that's great. 44% of WBE's certification was helpful. And so WBDC efforts of educating our certified WBEs on how to leverage your certification is our way of attempting to improve that number. Conversely, 56% of our WBEs say that the certification increased contract opportunities. So that's good. So that means more than half are getting looks at contracts or pursuing good contracts or are landing those contracts, and that's exactly what we're shooting for. So more education components in terms of how to do that, more one-on-one counseling is encouraged, more networking, and using WBDC as a resource to connect with those corporate partners are extremely important to, again, to increase that satisfactory of gaining those corporate contracts. Corporate contract strategy. Now that you've learned the benefits and the exposure, we're going to talk a little bit about putting that certification to work. So creating a strategy is no different than any other part of your business, right? You created a business plan when you first got started, or you developed and implemented a growth plan as you grew a little bit more. And so now it's time to create that corporate contracting strategy. It's a plan to put in action. And the first part of that is to create a target list of corporations that you like to do business with. I'd say maybe 5 to 10 corporations, top 5, top 10. And you identify those corporations. You identify if they buy what you sell. Are they interested in what you supply for them? You want to learn their procurement process, when they're buying, what time of the year they're buying, who their end buyers are. Oftentimes it isn't the supply diversity representatives, it's the internal people. You want to learn their spending habits and their spending goals. Sometimes it's by percentage, sometimes it's about an amount. You want to, research and really find out as much as you can about how you and your business fits in their procurement process. Again, whether it's if they're buying what you're selling, whether it's the right time that they can buy what you're selling, Can they afford you? What's their cost? You really want to know and get as intimate as you can with each corporation as you move through the process. Value proposition. Sometimes it's also known as capability statements on the government side. But essentially, it's a one-pager, and we'll kind of go through that in a little bit. But you want to cater your value proposition to each transaction of the corporation. So each corporation buying power, spending habits, or even their interest in suppliers will differ. And when you know and when you learn that, it'll help you tailor your value proposition to each of those corporations. So you may have a multi-line product or multi-line service. While one corporation is only looking for a portion of your product line or service line, you want to tailor your proposition to that particular transaction, right? You know, you want to be very concise and very detailed about how you want to do business with that particular corporation. So you, very similar to your resume, you change it, right, depending on, you know, what job you're applying for. And so the value proposition statement is similar to that. Developing an action plan. So you've created, identify your top 5 or top 10 corporations you like to do business with. You've learned if they buy what you sell. You've kind of watched and identified and learned their procurement process, and you've tailored your value proposition to that particular corporation. Now you want to create an action plan. How do you cultivate this relationship? How do you cultivate this corporation? How do you get them to learn who you are, and so forth? And so you put that plan together in support of your contract strategy, and then that kind of allows you to move forward with contract opportunities. Supplier diversity. So that's the hot topic, and that's why you became certified, right? What happened is that corporations, on the government side, it's mostly mandated by government for diverse spend. On the corporation side, they're private, so they can opt in. And like I mentioned earlier, 80% of corporations have opted in. And it's really exciting time right now because a lot of corporations are attempting to make diverse suppliers become a culture of their organization. So historically, it used to be on the back end. Once the buy-in option or buy-in opportunity gets to the supplier diversity, but now corporations are trying to back that in a little bit, where the idea of diverse suppliers start at the moment where you realize you need something. And so if you implement that into the corporation, and the diverse buying thought process begins earlier, I think we'll see better opportunities. We'll see more opportunities and more contracts won with these organizations really embracing the idea and the culture of diverse suppliers. So you want to research them. You want to go to their website. I often say if you go directly to a website, it's sometimes buried in the website. So Google, for instance, if it's Allstate, you would Google Allstate supplier diversity, or target diverse suppliers. Just kind of Google it, because it'll take you away from their main website and directly to their vendor registration or their diverse supplier registration. Trade shows are really, really important, whether it's, again, WBDC, whether it's the actual corporation hosting. Any opportunity where you can get in front of supplier diversity is a great opportunity. You want to cultivate them, you want to learn them, again, so they can learn who you are. And you just, even if it's not related to your product or service, sometimes it still can be beneficial for you to attend some of those events. Again, just for brand recognition, for name recognition, for face recognition, so that when your time and day come, then it's, it's less of a cold call. There's some relationship that is, that has been built. Look to WBDC. That's what we're here for. You became certified through our agency, or are looking to be certified through our agency, and we host a lot of workshops, webinars, seminars, intimate conversations, procurement events. Again, these are all things to align you with those future opportunities of gaining corporate contracts. Referrals from other WBEs. That network is so powerful and so important. And I encourage you all to continue to build on each other. Oftentimes, WBDC, we host these events and we get all of our WBEs in one room, And we think that selfishly that, you know, we're the highlight, and then we look around and it's an abundance of networking happening amongst the WBEs, which is an amazing thing to see. So we encourage getting referrals. If one WBE or future WBE learns of a corporation that may want to do business, you know, share that information. Sharing information is powerful, so we encourage that. We spoke a little bit about the value proposition. Oh, I'm sorry. Going back to the supply diversity. So while the government contracting is a little bit more transparent, and in some ways it's good because things are a little bit more streamlined through fewer registration portals, the corporation side is not. The corporation side, you have to go to each supply diversity portal for that particular corporation and register with their vendor registration list. And so while this may sound like a lot, generally the registration is very short. A few questions asked. Oftentimes, you know, are you a minority or women-owned business? Are you certified? Which certification? Of course, your business information, contact information. So it's not a lot, but it's important to be registered on each. So you take those top 5 or those top 10 targeted corporations, and you go to each of those websites, and then you register with them each, so that you can be a part of their pool when they go seek for either women or minority or veteran-owned businesses to do whichever services they're looking for at the time. So you're within their footprint. You want to follow up with an email letting your supply diversity manager know your interest in doing business with them. And so while this can be a little sometimes challenging, because we encourage our clients not to go to the supply diversity team saying, hey, I'm a WBE, how do I do business with you? While that's a very valuable question and an important question, by the way, you're one of many that's asking that same question to the supply diversity. So what can potentially set your business and yourself aside from the other pool of businesses asking that question is that once you've done your research, you've learned their buying power, you've learned their buying interest, you've learned their procurement process. Now you can say, hey, my name is Jamie Neely, I have XYZ business, this is how I can do business with you. And I think the solution being solution focused to them, whether you're right on or maybe a little off, it provides a very direct and very concise way as an introduction of how you can do business with them and how they can leverage you as a WBE in their supplier world. Follow up with a phone call. It's relation building. The supplier diversity manager or that representative is a direct advocate for you internally. And so if you can cultivate that relationship, you can get them to know who you are and you know, why they need you or why they should use you as a diverse supplier, the better off you are, because when opportunities come in internally, if you're just in the vendor registration, you're, again, one of many. If you've cultivated that relationship with time, you've proven that you're precise, you've proven that you're timely, you've proven that you're responsive, and they feel good about you, or maybe they can attest to some of your work, when opportunities come available internally, you know, they think, oh, I know Jamie Neely, I spoke to her yesterday, I know her business and she can do this. And so that's, you know, that's a way that you can have an internal advocate for you with those particular corporations that you've identified you want to do business with. Request a meeting. Getting in front of these people are, again, very, very important. It doesn't happen overnight. So for me to make it sound as easy as it sounds coming out of my mouth, that typically isn't the case. But asking for meetings, you may get no's with time, and that's fine. I always encourage being productively persistent, you know, being self-aware of knowing, you know, when it's time to let go and when it's time to just, you know, back up a little bit and then, you know, maybe decrease your follow-up time. But, you know, you want to be very strategic. But the idea is to be persistent with them. You all are very aggressive business owners, and so for me to tell you don't wait by the phone can probably go without being said, but don't wait by the phone. You know, just really be aggressive and persistent and follow up and get in front of them and request meetings to convey what your solution is to becoming a supplier with that particular corporation. So we talked about value proposition a little bit ago, and sometimes again it's also known as capability statement in the government contracting space. But what that is, it's a one-pager. It's a one-page similar to a resume. It's going to capture, and I'll give you an example on the next slide, but it captures who you are as a business, what your differentiators are, how you can do business with that particular corporation. Again, it may vary from corporation to corporation depending on what they're looking to supply. But you want to have this readily available as part of your business plan or part of branding. You want to have that with you. If you're going to trade shows, your value proposition statement is very good to have to hand off to the supplier diversity representatives. Here's the capability statement template. Again, very synonymous to a value proposition statement. You want to include your logo, the design, the branding, who you are. First glance, who you are. This should represent, similar to your website, it should speak to the quality of work you perform or services you offer, who you are, your core competencies. This is the area that may differ from corporation to corporation or from opportunity to opportunity, because this is the part that you're going to sell based on, you know, whatever opportunity is available or whatever that particular corporation is looking to do business with. So they're looking to, if you're in construction and they're looking for concrete, this is the part where you want to sell the concrete aspect. Or if you're an accountant, this is the part where you want to spend on certain things. So the core competency is, it's really good to give a really good synopsis of the entire business, but also a way to spin your niche for that particular opportunity. Past performance. This is essentially where you want to boast about yourself. Any reputable companies you've done business with, any premier contracts, any, you know, small, medium, large success to your point of view, without being extremely wordy. But, you know, here's a time to really boast about the hard work that you've done thus far, and so you want to include that in the past performance. The differentiators. So you may be a business, and there may be a large number of competitors that's looking for that same opportunity. What sets your business aside? This is where you want to highlight that. Whether it's your customer service, whether it's your turnaround time, whether it's whatever you think whatever sets your business aside from the other competing businesses offering similar and same products or services, here's your time and opportunity to highlight that. This template, this is the necessary information that should be included in the value proposition, but don't, it doesn't necessarily have to be formatted in this way. So I just want to make mention of that. Your company data. Brief company description, detailing relevant data, size of your firm, revenue, number of employees, geographic area that you serve. You can be as specific as you like. This information isn't mandatory to be included. It just helps the reviewer have a better snapshot of who you are, who your target market is, how widespread you are, how many employees you have. Revenue sometimes isn't always listed on there, which is fine. And then any prudent codes, your DUNS number, any certifications. Here's the time to list your WBE certification. If you have any other government or other minority veteran-owned certification, they will be included here. If you accept any credit card purchases, or that's where you would identify that information. Again, a very snapshot of your business, who you are, what you do, who you've done business with, what sets you aside, and your company information. Carry this with your business cards, carry this to trade events, carry this with meetings when you meet with corporations. Sometimes it's asked up front, sometimes it's asked when a meeting is held, but you just want to have this readily available. And this is something that a WBDC counselor or advisor can assist you with or work you with along the way. Next, we're going to talk about marketing your certification. So this, we've kind of talked about things to really rev up the opportunity for new, corporate clients. But marketing your certification can not only get you new clients, corporate clients, but also can cultivate and build new business with your existing clients. And so you want to market your certification. You can do this by making an announcement. It can be by email or by a formal letter telling them, you're certified, what this means to your business, what this can potentially mean to their business. And you want to brand it. You want to include these logos on that because that means a lot. You've just spent an abundance of time, energy, and money, right, for the certification. And so you want the public to know about this. Any prospects that you're looking to do business with, again, or your existing clients should be aware of your new certification or your existing certification. Including the brand, including those logos is good. It becomes recognizable. Unfortunately, we aren't in the era of where people read full letters and full emails, and so very snapshot with the logos and branding, I think, helps us capture, what we're trying to deliver to them, and so they can recognize the logo. I think they can get a synopsis of what we're announcing. Promotion with your existing clients. So some of them may be primes to other corporations that need diverse supplier and spend goals. And so, without them knowing that you are a certified WBE or looking to be, they won't know how to leverage you as a business or a current supplier. So here's an opportunity for you to evolve or to enhance your existing relationships or existing clients by notifying them. Prospecting in the WeBank supply diversity community. That database, I can't express enough, is huge. And so, again, we only have, WBDC have 92 corporate partners, but the National Council has 700. And you're being certified as WBE, you have complete access to these over 700 supplier diversity representatives. And so take full advantage and prospect and look through the database and find, and you can use, again, WBDC personnel to assist you with how to navigate or how to cultivate relationships through that WeBank database. Participate in your regional partner organization. So WBDC is your regional partner under WeBank. And so while we host our workshops, seminars, and matchmaker events, really immerse yourself in that supply diversity world through WBDC and through our corporate partners. Do your homework. Sounds easy, as if I hadn't given you enough homework already, right? But doing your homework consists of a lot of research. It's really learning these corporations. It's really developing relationships with the supplier diversity representatives. It's marketing your certification. It's getting your name out there as a business owner and a WBE. And with those two married, offering your service or solution to why you should be their supplier. So today we have carefully went through how you're going to get started with your corporate contracting strategy by identifying a few or several corporations you like to do business with, learning if they buy what you sell, learning their spending time frames, their goals. Again, government is transparent in terms of goal, what percentage they're looking to do with women business owners. The corporate side is not as transparent. Sometimes we'll get an annual report that says, we've spent X amount of money or we've spent X percent of our dollars with women or minority-owned businesses, which is great information, but ask questions to those supply diversity representatives so you can know, what it is that they're, what have you spent in the past. If they spent an abundance of diverse spending in a certain sector, then the next question would be, is that your plan in the future, in 2016, 2017, and so forth? Creating a strategy, put an action plan together, and moving forward and executing that action plan. Getting in front of the supply diversity folks, building relationships, getting to know who they are, getting them to know who you are in your business and what solution you have to their supplier diversity um, demands. Your value proposition statement, important, very good to have at all times. One-page resume, identify who you are as a business, what sets your business aside from the other competing businesses, and market that certification. Give people, you've worked hard for it. You're a women-owned business or a minority-owned business or a veteran-owned business, whatever your certification or classification is, you've worked hard for that, and rightfully so. You should market that as part of your brand to your business. Being certified, as we always say, does not guarantee you contract opportunities. It leverages your opportunity. Rather than competing with a huge pool of non-minority, non-women, non-veteran-owned businesses, you decrease your competition by now you're competing against other women business owners or other minority-owned business, and it narrows your pool of competition. And because we're a network, we all support each other. So it's competition in the sense of, you know, we have the same product or service, but we're a network and we support each other. And so it's good that if a fellow WBE get an opportunity or contract, you can learn, you know, what it is they did, you know, who they work with, what processes did they take, or what steps did they take, and you take what you can learn from it. But marketing your certification is important amongst each other and with your existing clients or existing corporate prospects. And so while I have provided a host of information, I would like to open it up for questions. Are there any questions? Taking you off mute. No questions? So everyone is ready?
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go for it.
Hi, my name is Marilyn Jones. I'm with Beef Fragrance, and actually all of this information was very informative for me. I was taking notes as you were going through it. So, process?
Marilyn?
And, yes?
Okay, go for it. I'm sorry.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So my question was, you mentioned that interest. Do you have an idea on what do you think the best way to do that, or mainly it's just more on researching that company online to find that, or is that via once getting to connect with their supplier diversity lead and learning that information?
I'm sorry, Marilyn. I think I missed the middle part. I got the beginning and the end. But how do you do what with the corporations?
Learn their procurement process.
Yeah, so it's a little tough, Marilyn, and it's challenging, and so it comes in several avenues for you. Of course, researching online, learning who the supplier diversity representative is, getting a relationship with them and asking those very direct questions. Sometimes you'll get representatives that are very open and direct with you, and sometimes you won't. Don't take it personal. It's just, you know, the draw the straw. And so that, and then also with our WBDC, our corporate partners, sometimes we get very direct relationships where they'll call on us and say, hey, Jamie, we have an opportunity to do X, Y, Z. Do you have any WBE? So look for that, you know, in terms of WBDC communications as well to get that information. But it isn't anything that you can find readily available to say, this is exactly what the process is. Very hardly do you get that, Marilyn, so don't become discouraged in the process. But asking questions, whether it's through fellow WBEs, through the supplier diversity representative, or directly through WBDC, I think are three important avenues that you should take to get that information.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? If there are not any other questions, I thank you all for attending the webinar. I hope that you got some good information. I look forward to working with you all. My contact information is right on the screen. Should you have any personal direct questions that you'd like to speak with me offline, feel free. I also encourage, if you're looking to do business with corporate contracting and you need assistance along the way, to schedule an appointment with one of our established business clients. Or if you have any questions about certification and what that means, whether you're looking to become certified or just more information about how to leverage your certification, again, we extend ourselves to you. And if that's it, I thank you all and I wish you all a wonderful day.